what's the worst that could happen, right? Like, what's the absolute worst that could happen if we quit our jobs, moved back home, and started a business, right? Well, you start thinking and you're like, the worst that could happen is it fails. And then what happens? You go get a job. Like, you're right where you started. So why don't you try it? We had no kids. We were just by ourselves. We had a good savings saved up. I mean, if the worst thing happened, we would go get a job like we were already doing.
Yeah, because there's nothing worse than working for somebody else and being like, I could start my own, like that guy. And that guy's probably in your office right now saying, like, I want to start my own business. It's like, well, why don't you go do it? And if you're successful, then you were right. And if you're not successful, you're going to have a completely different perspective coming back to working for somebody else.
And you have no regret because you tried it. Like, that's one of our kind of core principles in life is like, you're going to do the thing that you look back at and regret least.
Yeah.
So like, if you look at a situation and you have two options, you say, which one am I going to regret, I guess, the most, and follow that path. So like, starting a business was something, if we don't do now, we would regret it for years to come. And so we were like, let's step out, let's do it.
And it's just, like I said, if it doesn't work out, like I've said to Cami multiple times, my thinking of when I was an employee was off compared to what it's like to be an owner.
Absolutely.
Like, our expectations of our business owners are very high, and I don't believe sometimes we understand what they're going through. So like, now seeing it from the other side of the table, it's helped me have a completely new perspective on, hey, I had some unreal expectations when I was an employee.
100%.
So now once we stepped out and we started, that first year, your first year is the hardest year in business because nobody knows who you are. Everyone's waiting for you to fail, and you're getting no referrals, and you're working 10 times as hard just to get one client. And a lot of people quit that first year because they're expecting that, hey, I deserve to be in business because I came up with this idea. You don't deserve to be in business. You earn to be in business. So every single day, that first probably 3 months in business, we worked 12-hour days. Like, I remember my dad, because we were living at my dad's house until we moved into our new house, and we were living there for like a month, and he'd be like, you guys are working too much. And it's like, well, the world does not care that I started a business.
Yep.
The world is saying, hey, let me see you work for it. Because if you're not going to work for it, we're not going to give you anything. So we built a website. One thing I remember is we built that website, and we talked to that guy, and he showed us, hey, have you ever heard of SEO, which is search engine optimization? Means when people search, we own an insurance agency, so people search like trucking insurance Indianapolis, we show up. So if you wanted to prove that, you can search trucking insurance Indianapolis, and we show up. And this guy told us, he said, hey, you need to learn SEO, because we had this super sleek website with a few words. And I was like, oh, so like throughout our whole first year in business, we just pivoted.
Yep.
And we changed different things. Like, we were like, oh, we can go after this. This doesn't work. Okay, this doesn't work. So like what you were saying is that, hey, that first year in business, you're just trying to see whatever works.
Yeah. I think the first year is really just keep the baby alive. So you're trying to make money. You're trying to see how you get sales, how your processes work. Does networking work? Does door knocking work? Does cold calling work? Does mailers work? We've tried every single one of these.
In your business, whatever it is, there's different flows of how you bring in business. And for you to say, hey, I know this flow is going to work, and you don't try other things, that is completely negligent of you being a business owner. You need to pay attention to everything that could possibly work and try it all, and then give it a good faith effort. And if it doesn't work, then say, okay, I'm going to pivot here.
Yeah.
So like, what's been really successful for us is we've been great at cold calling. Do I love cold calling? Heck no. I hate it. But I do it because it brings in revenue to our company. So like, if I only did the things I wanted to do, our company would be 1/17 the size.
Yep.
Because so you have to do the things that actually work. And a lot of people think that being a business owner is, I do all the things I love every day. Like, that's not it. I hate managing social media. I hate dealing with clients sometimes, but we have to do those things to be successful in business.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's definitely the things that you, especially as a small business owner, I mean, you're wearing every single hat every single day.
You just got to find solutions that first year.
Yep.
Take action and find solutions. Because if you don't find solutions, like, it's not going to work. Don't be hard-headed to the fact that, hey, there's multiple ways of you being successful in business and you bringing money. And that's the number one thing that we don't see business owners do, because we work with business owners all the time, is that they don't focus on the revenue. They don't focus on the sales.
Right.
They start bringing in a little bit of sales, and then they go, oh, well, I'm going to get lured in by this technology or this shiny thing, and then I'm going to get off of sales because
it's not fun.
Yeah, it's not fun. It's going to keep coming in, but then you stop making, because I've seen this. I don't make as many cold calls. I'm focusing on this.
Yep.
But it's like, what got us to this point? Well, cold calling.
Yeah, I think the number one thing that just small businesses in general kind of fail at is going back to the roots when you first started and you were so desperate and hungry and wanting sales. And like, every business is a sales organization. There has to be money somehow. You have clients, you have transactions, you're making money through people. So if that's the case, you need to get back to what makes you money.
Yeah, you figure out how to do one sale and you continue to optimize it.
Yep.
So for us, like, optimizing it has been a little bit different. That's been, hey, we're no longer going to reach out to companies this size because their insurance spend isn't that much. We get paid off their insurance spend. So we're going to try to reach out to larger companies that we can help. Therefore, we make more money because the spend is bigger.
Yep.
So I'm optimizing. I'm still making the same sale, though. So, like, I'm doing the same thing that I've always done. It's just bigger deals now, but I'm continuing to optimize how quickly we can do it, how good we can do it. But at the same thing, the funnel of having that sale still has to remain the same. Because if you remove the funnel and you're like, we don't need to do that, and you optimize everything else, well, you can have a well-oiled machine, but if the machine never gets turned on, it's never going to produce anything. So you got to remember, like, as you grow, sales should be the most important thing in your business.
Always.
Yeah, 100%. Because if not, you're going to lose customers easily because you're not nurturing them. And if you're not replacing them with customers, then they're going to eventually go out of business.
Yeah, you're just shrinking as a business owner. So yeah, I think the first year honestly was just keeping the baby alive, getting to that 1 year mark, making a revenue profit, pivoting, being flexible.